We are back on BTN Live. Gary Anderson's first year at Wisconsin, 4-2 through 6 games. Though to be fair, a 1-touchdown loss to Ohio State and a rob job in the desert away from likely being a top 10 ranked team. Here's AD Barry Alvarez's thoughts on Anderson's first go-round in Madison.
I had this discussion with some people the other day. I haven't had one negative comment about Gary since he's been here. It's been a very, very easy transition. The fact how he handles the players, and it's quite obvious that it's about the players first. The players recognize that. I've never seen anyone work as hard as he and his staff and getting to know the players and them getting to know them from the time he got here. Good football coach, a good package. I think all the decisions that he makes has the players' welfare first. Takes the players' welfare in hand first before he makes a decision. But I think we continue to improve. If we do continue to improve throughout the season, I think we have a very nice football team.
Hey, Coach, Jim Miller again. How important was it for you that you see the tradition and history of running the football intact that you established so well in your coaching days at the University of Wisconsin? And then I've got a follow-up question because it is the foundations of football. How did you feel about the transition to a 3-4 defense? Because right now, Wisconsin is ranked 5th nationally defensively with how they've played.
Yeah, you know what? It was important when I interviewed coaches for this position that they understand what Wisconsin's all about. They understand the culture here. They understand how we've won in the past, the type of players you can consistently recruit, particularly the players, the type of athletes we can get in Wisconsin. And the fact that we've built the program, we have a brand. I didn't tell him that you have to do this, you have to do that, schematically you have to do this, but I wanted to hear, as I interviewed coaches, what their plan was. And Gary's plan was very similar to what I believed in and what I thought would be successful here. As far as defenses, 3-4, I don't care what you line up in. I really don't. 3-4, 4-3, it doesn't make any difference to me as long as you're sound. As long as the guys know what they're doing, they can play fast, and it's a sound defense. The structure really doesn't make any difference.
Hey, Coach, in light of what happened at Arizona State and how that game ended, what steps do you feel need to be...
Excuse me, Brandon. I don't think that game is over yet.
Oh.
That game hasn't ended.
Well, we have some of the same sentiments about that. But what steps do you think should be taken to prevent a situation like that happening ever again?
You know, it's very unfortunate. I think that's why you have someone up above. You have a replay booth that can call down and get it right. You know, the bottom line when you talk to officials, any good official will tell you this: the most important thing is get it right. And obviously they didn't get it right. They had an opportunity to. There's a replay guy upstairs that could have called everyone back and said, let's take a look at this. It didn't seem right, didn't feel right. Let's take a look at it on replay and make sure that it is right. So I think that's an obligation of the officials and the replay official.
Well, Coach, let me follow up on that because now being on the selection committee, and you already talked about human error and the human element being a deciding factor and the ability to get it right. Because realistically, hypothetically, I could say this about Wisconsin. They lost a game due to officials' blown call, and they've lost to a top 5 team in the country. You know, realistically, Wisconsin should be ranked pretty high right now.
Well, I think those are things, that, Jim, that you have to talk about. Those are things, you're evaluating a team, and you look at all the factors. Those are things that you have to talk about. How did they compete on the road at night against a top 4, top 5 team? Human error possibly cost them a game. You still have to make the field goal. But I think those are things that we as a committee have to talk about.
Barry, before we let you go, let me ask you individually about one of the players on this year's team, Melvin Gordon, now getting some Heisman buzz, even though he missed the fourth quarter against Ohio State. Every other game he's been well up over 130 yards, his ridiculous average in terms of yards per carry. You coached some pretty darn good running backs during your time at Wisconsin. How does Melvin rank?
We have had some pretty good ones come through here, and he's as good as any of them. He's really a combination of several of them. You know, I'd like to say he's the fastest one to ever come through here, but Michael Bennett was pretty fast himself. But I think, you know, the thing I like about Melvin, he's improved. You know, he can run with power. He runs through things. He finishes runs now. You see him run through people. You see him run over people. And then once he gets in the secondary, he's tough to catch. Really hard to bring down in the open field. But he is really one of the best. I thought he was special. You know, that month when I took over prior to the Rose Bowl last year, I watched one practice and I grabbed the offensive coordinator. I gave him one instruction: make sure 25's in the game plan a lot, because he is special.
That is always a pretty good game plan. Barry Alvarez, as always, great insight. Thanks so much for your time, and best luck this weekend when your team takes on Illinois.
Thanks, guys.